America This Week's special report. President Trump town hall was pre-recorded at the White House.
Sinclair Broadcast Group, connecting people with content everywhere.
The 2020 race for the White House is one of the most contentious in American history.
Screwing things up.
You were a senator. And
You're
by
the
way,
worst
you were
president America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me just tell you, Joe. I've done more in 47 months. I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe.
Emotions boil over on all sides. Tonight, your voice will be heard directly by the president.
And we change history forever by embracing the eternal truth that everyone is made equal by the hand of Almighty God.
Our America This Week's special report, President Trump Town Hall, starts right now. Oh, we want to welcome the Sinclair audience. This is America This Week. It's a very, very special occasion. It's a town hall at the White House with the Commander-in-Chief, President Donald Trump. We want to say thank you to you in 1 second. I also want to say thank you to our invited guests. When they heard we were doing a town hall, they sent in some questions. They will be asking questions. We'll get to as many as we possibly can a little bit later in the show. We'd also like to point out this offer was extended to the Biden campaign. We have not heard back from them just yet. Obviously, you can see we are social distancing. People are in masks. We want to make sure the CDC and all the media is okay with all that. Sir, thank you again very much for doing this.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
And our town hall is a big deal. 2 weeks left to the election. A lot of people have questions. They're going to make their decisions on who they're going to vote for right now based on this next hour. Sir, the debate is coming up on Thursday. Just wanted to talk to you. This came out this week that some new rules were added, specifically that there was going to be a mute button added to Kirsten Welker's, I guess, repertoire of what she will be able to do as debate moderator. First of all, your thought on the new rule.
Well, that's not fair. Plus, they changed the topics, which isn't fair, just happened. Plus, Kristen Welker obviously is a heavily biased person, with her parents being fundraisers and having supported the Democrats, and she's a Democrat. I know her well. So, it's just one of those things. But if you look at the last person had to leave in disgrace because it turned out that he was obviously very biased. And I wouldn't say that Chris Wallace did himself proud.
So, but this is nothing new for President Trump.
No.
For Donald Trump,
All my life.
The President Trump also, there's been a perceived hostile media towards you. What's your strategy going into this debate? A lot of people are saying you cut Biden off. Some people liked it, others didn't. Any different debate prep strategy?
Well, a lot of people liked it. He was lying. He was, going point after point, and they weren't truthful points. So I let him know that. I thought it was good. I think a lot of people agreed with that, and some people probably didn't. Some people think let him talk because he loses his train. He just loses it, and he doesn't speak the train of thought. But we'll see what happens. I mean, you really have to be there. I've done a lot of debating in the last 4 years, as you know, and it's worked out well. Or I guess we're not here, come to think of it. Oh, it's called the White House, right? But the fact is that you see, I find you always have to just wait. It's you have a strategy, but all of a sudden you change your strategy. We'll see what it is. Whatever it is, it is.
Speaking of strategy, Joe Biden, his strategy has been this week. He called a lid, which for people who don't understand in the media, you call a lid when you're going to make no more news. You're not going to make any more appearances. He called the lid on Monday through the debate on Thursday. You take a completely different tact. You're out there on the campaign trail. What's working? Well,
I'm going to Erie, Pennsylvania in a little while. Right after this interview, we have thousands and thousands of people. They've been there for 2 days already waiting. We just got back from Arizona and many other places. And we're having tens of thousands of people go to each one. And the spirit's been incredible. He's taken a different thing, and I think he doesn't want to be asked about his family because it's corrupt. What they've done is corrupt, and nobody's ever seen anything like it. When you look at the laptop, we call it the laptop from hell, and when you look at what they've done and as a family, where the son follows the father into these countries, and they walk away with tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. It's ridiculous. And then the press doesn't want to cover it, and big tech doesn't want to cover it.
I'm going to get to the big tech in a second with regards to this, but right now, is there anything? Clearly, there could be things that you could consider unethical. Is there anything you think has been done with the Bidens, Hunter and his father, Joe Biden, that's illegal?
Got one letter that he gets 10%. They have another one, I think it said 50%. But that he gets 10%. Did you see that?
I did.
Okay. I mean,
Well, I think he called it 10 for
10 for the
guy.
big man or the big guy.
guy.
He's the big guy. No, it's terrible. It's terrible. Look, in Moscow, $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month to sit on a board in Ukraine about energy, and he knows nothing about energy, and admits he knows nothing about energy, and many other things. No, it's a corrupt enterprise. There's no question about it.
You know, the New York Post broke the story, and Twitter immediately blocked, pulled New York Post Twitter handle off Twitter. And others, I believe Kayleigh McEnany was pulled for a while as well. Do you feel that Twitter and Facebook are cheating, are biased in this election?
Oh, 100%. And frankly, that's turning out to be as big a story as the corruption itself. They are trying to protect him because that's the way it is with the Democrats. It's a part of the Democrat Party, I guess, but they're trying to protect Biden from this corruption where they got caught, and that's turning out to be just as big a story.
Censorship?
Of course. I mean, it's at a level that nobody thought possible.
Election interference?
Yeah, 100%.
You know, there's this Rule 230, as you know. Rule 230 for our audience is it's
Section 230.
Section 230. It basically shields some social media companies from the legal scrutiny that they would have had they not had this Section 230. Now, Ajit Pai, your FCC commissioner, said he wants to revisit 230. What do you think should happen?
Well, we're going to see what happens. They have to make a ruling. But nobody ever thought that Section 230 was going to be devised for purposes like this and what they're doing. Nobody has ever seen anything like this, Eric, and you know it better than anybody. Nobody's ever seen anything like this.
You use Twitter, though, effectively. Are you concerned that they've taken that tool, that arrow out of your quiver?
Well, you know, I have a voice that seems to be a pretty big voice, and we're here. This is where we are, and they fought me the last time. But they're fighting dirtier now and harder, and they've gotten bigger as companies. And the Democrats and the relationship to the media now has been totally exposed and dirty, very dirty. So, but you know,
explain that.
I won last time.
A little further.
Well, they work together. They work together like nobody would ever believe. And the last time they did, and we won, and I think we're going to win again. We have more spirit now, and you see that, than we ever had 4 years ago. And 4 years ago, I think we set records on enthusiasm. And they measure enthusiasm, and we have more enthusiasm now than we did 4 years ago, by a lot. The crowds are bigger, the rallies are bigger, people are angry and happy at the same time. It's very interesting. They're angry at what they see going on. They spied on my campaign. We caught them. They did more than spy on the campaign. They tried to take down a duly elected president of the United States. And the whole thing is incredible. Not even believable, but we caught them. And now we're finding out this whole Biden thing with all the corruption. And at least I have a voice where I can talk to you, I can talk to other people and get the voice out. But no, what the media's done, mainstream, lamestream, I call it lamestream media, what they've done is incredible. And now big tech on top of it. So, but look, I'm here, I'm cutting taxes, they're raising taxes for a reason that's bad. You look at all of the things, Second Amendment, we're protecting the Second Amendment. They're going to get rid of the Second Amendment.
Is there more coming out about the Hunter Biden,
I think
Joe
so.
Biden?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot more.
When?
I don't want to talk about it, but I think a lot more. I think you'll see a lot more. Again, I'm not in charge of that, but I think you're going to see a lot more.
One of the things I noticed this week is you've been going back and forth with the press about Anthony Fauci. What's the relationship with Fauci?
I get along with him fine, but he's made mistakes. And, you know, when he said he really is stopped from going on television. Then you see him do 60 Minutes, not one of the greatest shows in the world, and he's not. But when you see it, but he said no masks, don't wear masks, and then he said wear masks. And he didn't want me to stop people from coming in from China, and then he admitted it was a great move that I made against him. You know, I overrode him. But with all of that, I get along with him. I like him. He's Tony. He's a nice
You
guy.
called him a disaster.
Look, he's made bad moves, but he's been there a long time.
This is, and I know this is hard to answer, but let me ask you this anyway. With COVID, is there anything that you think you could have done differently? If you had a mulligan or a do-over on one aspect of the way you handled it, what would it be? Not
much. Look, it's all over the world. You have a lot of great leaders. There are a lot of smart people. It's all over the world. It came out of China. China should have stopped it. They stopped it from spreading into other parts of China after Wuhan. But China should have stopped it. No, not much. I did it very early. You know, Biden was criticizing me when he said I was xenophobic when I put the ban on China. And he said I was xenophobic. Think of that. And Pelosi did too. She said, oh, it's terrible, it's ridiculous. I was months early. Now they come back and say, oh, I should have done it sooner. You couldn't have done it sooner. I did it at a very early point.
Mr. President, why has the mask become such a political football? I mean, would it be that bad if we just said, you know what, open the economy, open your businesses, go to restaurants, open your stores, open your schools, just wear a mask?
I have no problem with it. I have no problem with the mask, and frankly, some people don't like it. Some people don't like it scientifically. I mean, you know, you have a lot of different views than the mask. Look at Fauci, where he originally said, don't wear a mask. And then he comes out and he says, that's okay.
There are a couple cable channels that make a living off of what you say and what you do with masks. Why not just take that
Well, I
away
have
from
done that. I said, wear a mask and socially distance and all of those things. And people are going to do what they want to do. You know, when you see my rallies, a lot of those people are actually wearing masks. And they're outdoor rallies, which is very important. No, to me, it's not a big issue. To me, it's an issue. I say wear it. It's okay.
Yeah, very good.
I have no problem with it.
China, you mentioned China. You brought up China. President Trump's second term. What do you do with China?
Well, you know, we're going to do plenty with China, but we're not. What they did to us is a disgrace. It's a disgrace.
When you say plenty specifically.
Well, I'm not going to talk to you about that, Eric. I mean, you know, give me a break. But we're going to do plenty with respect to China. And what they did to this country and to this world, everything, you're sitting there with that mask because of China, okay? And it's disgraceful. It's a total disgrace. But you'll find out.
Well, so the reason why I'm asking, Mr. President, is because maybe some people out here are going, how would Biden handle China versus how would Trump handle China?
Okay, well, Biden can handle it any way he wants. Biden's bought off by China. Biden took out $1.5 billion for his son to manage and make millions of dollars a year. Biden is weak on China. Biden's been weak on China from day one. Biden let China get away with murder. Biden let China steal us and rob us blind. I've taken out billions and billions of dollars from China with the tariffs and everything else we've done. And we were doing great, and then we got hit by the pandemic, by the, as I call it, the plague that came out of China. So you'll find out.
Okay. Very quickly, we only have a couple minutes before we go to break and get to some of the audience questions. The polls had you trailing. You've tightened the polls. What do you attribute that to? And should we even watch the polls?
Well, I watch polls, but the polls are fake, just like the reporting. I think we're winning. I think we're winning big. I think we're winning in Florida. I think we're winning in North Carolina and Arizona. And I think we're winning in Nevada. We've got a governor out there that I don't trust, but that's all right. I think that all of these ballots that they're sending, these millions of ballots, are very dangerous. Supreme Court made an unbelievable decision yesterday when he allowed one of the states to go where they allowed one of the states to go.
Yeah, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is now allowed.
It's the craziest thing anybody's ever heard, because that could delay the results of the election based on one state. It's just a crazy decision, but that's what we have to deal with.
Very important state. Could be the deciding state.
And I'm doing very well there. We're very well in Pennsylvania, but you would think you'd want to have the votes counted, tabulated, finished by the evening of November 3rd. Not long after that. It could be long after that. What a decision by the Supreme Court.
Very good. Pennsylvania, again, up to possibly 3 days after November 3rd to continue to count the votes.
Possibly a lot longer than that.
Could be. We're going to come right back and answer your questions from the town hall audience when we come right back with the Commander-in-Chief.